sentry saw her a few days ago. I'm marking her last known location on your map. Scientist, Origin, come in. several non-recharging experiments. Oh, we could charge it by passing it through some quantum energy clouds.
If you like this mix, show the DJ some love. We favorite it on Mixcloud. The DJ with the least favorites gets the
Mix, there are over 600 more just like it at mixcloud.com/poshdjs. Visit mixcloud.com/poshdjs and listen to over 600 mixes just like this.
You are listening to the Post DJ Podcast.
were announced for the platform, with a lot of them coming to Xbox Game Pass. And Microsoft and PlayStation are at each other's throats once again over Call of Duty and the Activision deal. Oh boy, this is going to be a good one, so let's get into it.
I found the scientist. He's in his underground biolab researching that strange substance spreading
What
across
is
the
going on,
island.
everybody? This
The
is
visitor is there too,
19,
along with
the man
Origin.
a million.
We've been
Back
asked
again
to
with
find and bring some
another
7 gear
video.
to the
I hope
lab.
everybody is having
It
a
sounds
great
like
day.
we're going
You guys
off grid.
Do me a huge favor. Make sure you hit that like button and please subscribe if you're new. And share this video out on social media. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys. We just came off the Tokyo Game Show as well as the Ivy of Xbox stream, where a whole bunch of brand new Xbox games were announced, with a lot of them coming to Xbox Game Pass on day one. Not to mention some of the titles announced that were multi-platform at the Nintendo Direct, as well as the PlayStation State of Play titles like Tekken 8, as well as some brand new Yakuza titles. We're going to be talking about all those games a little bit later on in the video, but I think you guys know from the title and the thumbnail what the main focus of this video is going to be about. PlayStation and Xbox at each other's throats. PlayStation being very aggressive with their responses regarding Xbox owning Call of Duty. Now, say what you will, and I will say what I will. PlayStation's out there crying, bitching, complaining, moaning to anybody that will listen that Xbox owning Call of Duty is bad for the entire gaming industry. Just like the whole Jim Ryan thing last week, where I lasered holes throughout his argument, I'm going to do the same to this one, and I'm going to have a damn good time doing it. We will get to that in a couple minutes, because I'm going to start this video off the same way I started yesterday's video off, talking about Deathloop, because yesterday's video was about how Deathloop was on the verge of being announced, and I thought it was going to launch on September 20th. Well, during the Tokyo Game Show, in fact, I believe it was at the end of the stream, Microsoft finally revealed, finally announced that Deathloop will be launching on Xbox, on Game Pass, on day one, on September 20th. I hope everybody plays this game. I love Arcane. I really enjoyed this title, even though I don't really think it reaches the heights of Dishonored 1 or 2 or Prey, but it is definitely worth playing through. And there are some new improvements in this version, including an extended ending. So over on the Xbox Wire blog, they say Deathloop is Arcane Leon's take on an assassination experience seamlessly blending single-player gameplay with multiplayer drama. The winner of more than 300 Best of awards, Deathloop is two rival assassins in an endless battle for the future. The Xbox release of Deathloop comes with all the updates released for the game since its launch, so players can look forward to photo
Nothing
mode,
here.
additional accessibility options, cross-play matchmaking, and a host of quality-of-life fixes. In addition, Arcane Leon is also releasing the Golden Loop update to the game, which brings a new weapon, a powerful new ability, new enemy types, an extended ending, and more. Deathloop is available for pre-order on the Series X and S for pre-install with Xbox Game Pass now ahead of its release on September 20th. So now that we know the Deathloop contract was for a year and was releasing very soon after, and is releasing very soon after the contract ended, we can make the assumption that Ghostwire Tokyo, which came out on March of this year, will probably release March of next year. Now, what I really want to talk about is I love all this drama between Microsoft and Sony. I never thought we would see the game in the public like we have. I thought it would be all behind closed doors, email, but it certainly seems like they're ramping up to kind of have this battle in the public. And I'm not really sure that it's going to be the PlayStation, because sometimes they come across as pretty hypocritical. Granted, this deal should be scrutinized. It's $70 billion. The regulators need to do their due diligence to see if there's any sort of monopoly or what have you. And that's exactly what they're doing, because the CMA in the UK dominance instead of looking out for consumers or fair competition for that matter. Well, they announced that they were going to phase 2, looking over this acquisition, and it would take some time before they would come to the decision. But of course, Sony had to say something. They could have kept quiet, but instead they decided to stir the hornet's nest. The article goes on to say over at GameIndustry.biz, Sony has responded to the CMA's decision to further investigate the acquisition and says it, quote, welcomes the announcement. Yeah, I'm sure you do, because the thing you will understand, if you haven't already, when I've talked about it in these previous videos, is that Sony desperately does not want this deal to go through. They do not want Microsoft and Xbox to own Call of Duty and all of Activision's titles. They don't want Microsoft to be more relevant in gaming, to get more power, to take market share away from them, to basically take revenue away from PlayStation. PlayStation had it easy the past couple of generations. Xbox shot themselves in the foot. They were kings and they barely had to do anything to be that way. They don't want a Microsoft that can better compete with them, because PlayStation just doesn't want to compete in that manner. They just want to compete the way they've always done, using their market leader privileges to get exclusive content or to lock games away from the Xbox ecosystem. And now the shoe might be on the other foot, and PlayStation is not happy about this. PlayStation goes on to say, well, by giving Microsoft control of Activision games like Call of Duty, like they say here, by giving Microsoft control, like Microsoft is buying them for $70 billion. It's not like the CMA is giving Microsoft control of Activision. They're spending the money, they're going to own it, and they're going to have to fund those games and face the consequences if something like Call of Duty declines in the future. But anyways, this deal would have major negative implications for gamers and the future of the game industry. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers. You see, this is a whole bunch of bullshit. Sony's out here basically trying to portray this idea that they're a victim, which is absolutely hilarious, and the irony couldn't be funnier, because they're saying these things on the day that they revealed their exclusive Call of Duty content that they're keeping away from Xbox gamers. On the day that Deathloop is finally announced for Xbox that they kept away from Xbox gamers, for a year. And when you read this line that the deal would have major negative implications for gamers and the future of the gaming industry, like that whole point there about giving Microsoft control, major negative implications for gamers, logically when you break that whole thing down, aren't exclusives in general negative implications for gamers? Isn't it negative that Final Fantasy 16 won't be on Xbox for 2 years? Isn't it negative that Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't on Xbox? Basically, any exclusive from any company would be a negative implication for gamers on other platforms. But okay, let's really not go down that rabbit hole, but let's look at it at its face value. Sony's saying that Microsoft having control would have major negative implications for gamers in the future of the gaming industry. Sony's out here saying that we're just trying to protect the gamers, even though the one that is out here raising prices of their first-party games and raising prices of their own consoles and basically charging people $10 to upgrade a game or charging developers a tax to do crossplay. So who exactly here is the one doing these major negative implications? Is it Sony or is it Microsoft? And honestly, when they say that this has major negative implications for gamers, what gamers are they actually talking about? Now, we've heard that there's 4 billion gamers in the world. Is Sony trying to say that we're just out here and we need the CMA to protect these 4 billion gamers? Good guy Sony, right? Well, when you actually break it down, Microsoft owning Call of Duty and Activision doesn't hurt Xbox gamers because Xbox gamers will still get those games and they'll get them cheaper in Xbox Game Pass. So it's not Xbox gamers that would have the negative implications. Would it be Switch gamers? Well, no, not really, because Microsoft has already said they want to bring Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch. So they would actually get a Call of Duty game, because right now Nintendo Switch gamers don't get Call of Duty. So they're clearly not talking about Nintendo gamers. Well, maybe they're talking about PC gamers. Well, no, that can't be true either, because Microsoft releases all their games day one on PC, unlike PlayStation. So it's not PC gamers. Is it mobile gamers? Well, not really either, because Microsoft actually, through xCloud, lets you play all your games,
This
including
looks like
Call of
what
Duty in
Mr.
the
Big
future,
Blue
on
and
iOS
Responsible
and
needs.
Android, not to mention there
I
are
wonder what
Call
they're
of Duty
researching
games
down
made
there.
specifically for mobile. So if this has major negative implications for gamers, what they're really saying here is it has negative implications for PlayStation gamers. Duh. But you know what, Sony? I will give you an A+ for effort on this one, trying to confuse a government agency that you're just a good guy for gamers, when in reality, you're not even really protecting PlayStation gamers because you're raising prices across the board. We talked about that. It's been repeated to death, but it's still true. And this idea that it's bad for the future of the gaming industry, like the future that PlayStation wants is the same as the future everybody else wants in the gaming industry. The future that PlayStation wants is a weak Xbox. That is what they're striving for, because it would be a nightmare for PlayStation if Xbox got stronger. And it certainly didn't take Microsoft long to respond by saying, quote, "It makes zero business sense for Microsoft to remove Call of Duty from PlayStation, given its market-leading console position." So you have Sony out there, Chicken Little, saying the sky's falling, that it has negative implications for all gamers, and the industry is doomed. Doomed, I tell you, all because Microsoft's going to control Call of Duty. But then Microsoft's just like, bro, calm down. We're not even removing Call of Duty. What you talking about? Why are you so angry, market leader? You see how they threw that at him? Basically saying what you're concerned about, you shouldn't be concerned about. We already told you we're not going to remove Call of Duty. We sent you those contracts. We're going to do a 3-year thing. I know you want a 10-year one. I know you're angling for a perpetuity one from these government regulators, but that's just not how business works. You want to control the narrative. You want to seem like the good guy, even though you do all these deals all the time. Like recently, the Hogwarts deal, where they have exclusive shops and missions. And then they throw that jab about the market-leading console position. Like, hey, are you really that threatened? Are you really that scared of us? The franchise company in an industry where you're number one? Are you that scared of us gaining market share and being better able to compete? Is that what worries you? I mean, that is what worries them. They don't want this deal to go through. They want it to flop. Because they want Call of Duty controlled by a third party. They don't want Microsoft any bigger, any better, any faster grow anymore. Or the possibility at all of Microsoft surpassing keeping them in that market leader position because we know it's done, right? If Microsoft becomes market leader, oh my God, what happens to Call of Duty? Oh my God, what happens to Sony overall? If PlayStation were to greater, that would be bad for that company. So once again, it's two companies protecting their business interests. But I'm sorry, PlayStation comes across as entirely hypocritical. The idea that they're out here gamers and they see the industry failing is kind of absurd because they don't care about anybody. They don't care about Xbox gamers. They don't care about Nintendo Switch gamers. They don't care about mobile. They don't care about PC. And they hardly even care about their own gamers because they're constantly jacking up prices because they view them as pig pens. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Now, really quickly, I just want to talk about some of the announcements Microsoft made at the Tokyo Game Show, which should make a lot of Xbox gamers happy that
need your help
Microsoft's out there
now.
trying to get the Japanese content that you want. So during the show, they announced that these games pretty much are available right now on Xbox Game Pass. You have Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony Anniversary Edition, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Fuga Melodies of Steel. But then they also announced that Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom will actually be heading to Xbox in 2023. And we have another developer coming back to Xbox. You remember Team Ninja, who had done a couple games exclusive for PlayStation, Neo 2. They're back with Wulong. Well, Arc System Works is back with their fighting games. So the latest entry in the Guilty Gear series, Guilty Gear Strive, is now coming to Xbox Game Pass Series X and Xbox One and Windows for a while. And Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle Special Edition is also coming to Xbox and Game Pass.
Help them find the
I'll
scientist
have
notes.
everything linked in the comments below, so if you want to check out Xbox's Tokyo Game Show stream, you can watch it for yourself. Anyways, guys, that is the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, share this on social media, and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching it. Truly appreciate it. And I'll see you next one. Later.
Zero-point energy shockwaves were flares, a galactic distress signal. If we don't help, it'll go dormant. Here goes nothing.
Paradigm, if you're listening to this, it means I'm gone. I don't know where they took me, and I don't know if I'll be back. I promised we'd never leave you alone again, and I promised freeing the 0 point would be safe. Everything's my fault, so whatever happens to me, I deserve it. I programmed Amy to take care of you and whoever's left.